We want to start this session once again. We know all uh, medical professionals, scientists, chemists, health providers, hospitals, even hospitals are working very hard to cope with this COVID-19, and they all do their best to help people to bring their health back and live their normal life. And as we all know, there are enormous amount of problems all over the world. This is the time we all learn to discipline ourselves. Disciplining ourselves is just following their advices very honestly and following the Buddha's advice very sincerely and restraining ourselves from doing anything that aggravate the situation. We should not do anything or say anything to hurt us and others. This is the time we really honestly make our hearts melt, mind soft, and become gentle, kind, and friendly to work in friendliness with everybody. Everybody's cooperation at this time, materially as well as spiritually, is absolutely necessary. That also is the Buddha's advice. And in addition, we have to follow his very wonderful, very wise, noble advice. That is, this is the time to refrain from all unwholesome thoughts, words, and deeds, and do all good that we can within this limited capacity that we have, and then spend as much time as possible to clean the mind, make it pliable, full of compassion, equanimity, and peace, and so that metta dwells in such a state of mind which helps us as well as others. And let us try to understand the in spite of all these are temporary comfort, but deep down in our subconscious mind, we still have certain degree of fear, anxiety, tension. And the Buddha addressed that particular state of mind through the practice of meditation. We should be able to reduce our tension, anxieties, and worries. And we wish all others who are in such states be free from their tension, anxiety, and worries, which accelerate their recovery. There is medical professionals and so on, they do as much as they can physically, and some even do some psychological uh, help, providing psychological things to bring their mind steady and calm. And we also, following the Buddha's advice, want to give more uh, uh, lasting, steady way of practicing to calm our mind. So let us all sit in comfortable posture and begin to focus our mind on our breathing, noticing that breath is coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, appearing and disappearing, touching either nostrils, tip of the nose, upper lips, chest area, abdominal area. Pick one of them for whichever you feel comfortable and focus your mind there and be very relaxed and don't think of anything that you have done in the past or think of anything that you are going to do after this and simply stay in the present moment which is filled with our inhaling and exhaling and focus our mind there. As we gain concentration, our peace and tranquility becomes stronger and more powerful and we feel extremely peaceful and happy, which expedite our recovery of emotional stress. With these few words of advice, I like to stop and let us practice what we preach. Natidhanam apanyasa panyanati adhayatu yam hidhanancha panyati save nibbana santike. There is no concentration without wisdom, no wisdom without concentration. One who has both wisdom and concentration is close to peace and emancipation. Okay, friends, I'm glad that you all came for this session. And if you have Dhamma question, please ask now. This is a very good opportunity for us to talk. Buddha said, Kalena Dhamma Sakacchayetam Mangalam Uttamam. Discussing Dhamma at right moment is a blessing supreme, the supreme blessing to discuss Dhamma. This is the very important moment in the world for us to discuss Dhamma, because we all face the reality in life that you cannot hide, and it is therefore better for us to talk rather than trying to hide it. We talk about the truth, the reality which we, each and every one of us personally experience.
Bhante,
Yes. Yes. Somebody is trying to talk. Maybe this one for us. Oh.
Prashant said sound is a little low on my end, but we have the speaker here, the microphone. So it should be okay.
We don't need this to hear.
Right.
Was it Prashant who tried to talk?
I don't know.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Bhante.
Okay.
Okay. Somebody tried to talk to me?
Okay. So Bhante, I have a question. Maybe I'll start us off.
Yeah.
So I believe that the Buddha wanted us to practice samatha, tranquility, concentration, sort of jhana practice.
Mm.
And Buddha also wanted us to practice insight, sort of vipassana insight practice.
Yeah.
So, but Bhante, how do we choose? It's very difficult to concentrate on only the breath and to also be aware of feeling, sensation throughout the body.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm concentrated here on the breath, then if I also pay attention to the impermanence of sensation, then I lose my concentration. So how do we navigate these two practices? Sort of how do we balance them, and how do we choose between them?
Actually, when you practice, whichever is more comfortable at that moment, you practice that. That is, if your concentration is very good in the morning, right now, focus the mind on concentration, meaning pick one of those numerous things that you experience, pick the one that is most clear or stronger, and pick that, focus your mind there, and then you develop your concentration. If you cannot gain concentration, practice mindfulness. Suppose even now, I said so many things at the beginning, your mind would go here and there on to one object or another, one word or another, one concept or another. That means that is the time for you to practice mindfulness. Because mindfulness, one thing I repeated many times, that you see in mindfulness is when you are trying to practice mindfulness, you practice the changes, impermanent. Mind is shifting from one object to another, one concept to another, one thought to another, to the past, future, present, and so forth. When mind is moving like this from object to object, that is the time to practice vipassana. Because mind is changing from moment to moment, object to object, and also mind is changing because the mind is going from object to object, because our desire takes the mind to those objects. Our desire takes the mind to those objects. The very nature of desire is Purno Bhavika Nandi Raga Sagata Tatra Tatrabhinandini. The nature of desire is to repeat. Purno Bhavika means Punar Bhava, repeating itself. Nandi Raga Sagata, it has joy and delight and clinging. Joy and clinging. Tatra Tatrabhinandini. Joy and cling to this one, and then joy and cling to another one, and then leave it and goes to another one, and so forth. That is the nature of desire. So desire takes our mind from object to object, object to object. That shows even desire is not permanent. Our mind is not permanent, desire is not permanent. It takes the mind from object to object, because desire loses interest very quickly. It is very much like diminishing return. You desire, enjoy something for one moment, and then loses interest and goes to another thing. So desire also loses interest in any particular thing. And therefore, mind goes from object to object. After, when you, without getting upset, disappointed, or agitated and so on, just be aware of this nature. This is called Dhamma. Dhamma is the nature. This is the nature of the mind. This is the nature of desire. And therefore we watch this desire, this nature. When we watch this nature, then mind naturally does not have anything to be excited, agitated, upset, because the mind sees the same thing in everything. When you see everything is the same, it sometimes for people be boring, tiring, but for mindfulness meditator, seeing everything the same triggers his insight, wisdom to know, yes, this is the nature. The mindful meditator would not be upset when things are the same. Things are not the same because they are changing all the time. And however, in every moment, everything that we experience, we see the same impermanence changing. And that is very important part of Vipassana meditation. So, if you cannot gain concentration, the concentration's enemy is wandering mind. That concentration enemy becomes a friend of mindfulness meditation. So you make concentration enemy your friend to develop your mindfulness. So therefore Buddha did not teach two different type of meditation. He taught the same meditation. It is just like two sides of the same coin. He taught samatha vipassana, mindfulness and concentration, and he did not emphasize one over the other. But finally, when these two combine together, there will come a moment both shake hand and work together in unison to see the truth exactly as it is. There are many discourses. I don't want to quote discourses, but I simply say that these two are working together hand in hand and developing together. And it is called Yuganad. There are 4 ways of doing it. One is Samatha Pubbanga Vipassana, other is Vipassana Pubbanga Samatha, third is Yuganad, fourth is inner settling. So I explain Samatha Pubbanga Vipassana, you practice concentration and then mindfulness, or you practice mindfulness and concentration, or you practice both together, or you don't think of any of these things and simply mind, when there are no objects, mind naturally settles inside, all the hindrances and tension fades away. These are the 4 methods. These are very clearly explained in the Buddha's teaching. So very good question, very appropriate for our practice. And everyone should know this when they try to practice meditation.
Sadhu. Thank you, Bhante.
You are welcome. Any other? Yes, any other question?
Bhante, the Pali Sutta you just recited, which regarding our mind is the desire is always looking at this and the next and next. Could I know the sutta number, the sutta name? That's really inspiring me.
Yeah, this particular wording you can find in the first sermon. In the first sermon, when the Buddha described the craving, he said that tanna ponobhavika nandi raga sahagata tatra vinandini. Sakopane satanna ponobhavika nandi raga sahagata tatra vinandini. You can see this sentence in the first sermon, and you can see the translation in various places. And that means that this craving, repeating itself, delighting here and clinging to this, and then delighting there, clinging to that, delighting there, clinging to that. And therefore, its nature is trying to cling to something. When it tries to cling, the object is changed already. So the desire loses interest, then goes to another and tries to cling there, and that object is also changed. Desire is changing, the object that desire tries to cling to also is changing. There is no unchanging object for desire to cling. Therefore, this is the truth of all existing things. Friends, clinging is mere thought, which can never be realized. Because you try to cling to anything, it will never stay there for you to cling. It changes. And therefore, we say, I cling to so and so and so and so. It is mere for the sake of saying in a conventional way. But in reality, you cannot cling to anything in you or in others. While we are thinking of clinging, Our body is changing, mind is changing, feeling, perception. This changing never stop. They never stop. That is why the life is called a flux, changing all the time. And not seeing this make us very unhappy. When we see this, make us happy. That is what we want to gain from Vipassana meditation. I think, friends, I can see Jean Melbourne, this lady.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hi.
She sees you too.
Hi, Jean. So, this is a very wonderful session. I'm very pleased that you all came. Come again in the evening at 7 o'clock. Okay?
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice Saturday.
Yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Thank you.